Hello! I'm back once again, everyone. What I'd like to discuss with y'all today is the Art of Moe Anime, or CGDCT. Cute girls doing cute things. While it isn't exactly everyone's cup of tea, and a lot of people on the internet complain about the mere existence of this genre of anime, it definitely is my cup of tea, and actually was my go-to genre of anime to watch when I started to absorb myself into this medium of animation. I watched Moe anime almost exclusively for the longest time, with a few exceptions here and there. No matter what, I couldn't tear myself away from it, and I don't really understand why I was as attached to it as I was. But what I can tell you is what Moe is, and that this genre of anime is good. I'll explain to everyone watching today why, and hopefully convince everyone here today to give this genre of anime a shot. So, what is Moe? Honestly, and this is an odd way to start the video off, it's rather difficult to explain. The best way that someone can describe what exactly Moe is by a sheer overload in cuteness in which that makes your heart go all doki doki. That definition is rather vague though, because that can apply to literally anything. Every individual has their own definition of what cute is and how much of it is considered to be an overload to them. So if anything can be Moe, can all anime be considered Moe? No. What I believe defines what exactly is a Moe anime are three characteristics. A cast that consists of either mostly or entirely female main characters, an overall chilled out and laid back vibe, and a very feminine looking and polished art style, which I believe is the most crucial of the three characteristics because it's what you're going to notice first before anything else. Most anime have a decent, balanced ratio of male to female characters regardless of what gender the main character or characters are. However, Moe anime tends to never include male characters the vast majority of the time. At least, not in the spotlight. If they do, the cast is organized similarly to how a harem anime would be, the male being the main character surrounded by pretty ladies. The Helpful Fox Senko is a great example of this. Now, I'm not exactly sure who the market for Moe is meant to be for. Logic dictates that an all-female cast would be marketed towards women, which would make sense seeing as Moe anime don't include topics that most men would be interested in. If that's the case, why would someone like me, for example, like Moe anime? Well, the answer is simple. Men are very visual and simple creatures. We see a cute anime girl, we click. And Moe is full of cute female characters. As long as the formula is working, it's probably best to not challenge or question it. Moe anime are pretty chilled out. There isn't meant to be anything too exciting with the stories being told, if there even is a story being told. The point of most Moe anime is to make you feel like you're a part of the group that you're watching. It isn't exactly an interactive experience by any means, but because their activities are the most basic daily events, it isn't too hard to have the viewer project themselves into the presented scenarios and feel like they're there with the cast. If everyone on screen is relaxing and having fun, then you will be too. More on this later. Art styles in Moe are pretty consistently very well polished and refined, as is the case with the vast majority of anime in this day and age. Moe can be recognized by its more feminine art style of huge eyes and more rounded faces to a somewhat exaggerated extent compared to more typical anime. That's probably the biggest giveaway when it comes to knowing you're watching a Moe anime. Other aesthetics include bright and vibrant colors, and or a pastel color palette. I highly recommend turning on nightlight if you're a Windows user, or wearing some sunglasses if you'd like your eyeballs to not feel like they're melting out of your eye sockets. What I enjoy most about Moe anime are two things. The fact that most are quite literally about nothing, and that they're really good at brightening up moods. Since most Moe anime are about nothing, it gives the writers free reign over what goes into their stories. The aspect of free reign isn't always taken advantage of though, which is totally fine. Writers are still more than capable of creating something very enjoyable when the anime is nothing more than just watching the characters go about their day. On the few cases of free reign actually being taken advantage of, we do get some interesting kinds of anime, like New Game, a Moe anime about being game developers, or A Place Further Than the Universe, a personal top 10 anime for me, which is a story about 4 ordinary high school girls going on an expedition to Antarctica. This is an anime that shows that the writers are really thinking outside the box, which led them to create one of the greatest anime ever made. A Place Further Than the Universe is a great example of a modern classic and is a must-watch. Now the last, and what I personally consider to be the most important reason, Moe anime are overall mood lifters. Anytime that I'm not really feeling well mentally and or emotionally, I like to throw one of these anime on. Generally, because of the aforementioned laid-back vibes, Moe anime are very happy anime. Most of the time. and it's nice watching the cast just be happy, because that's something I can't do. While some definitely have their depressing moments as well, a vast majority of any moe anime you watch is going to be lighthearted and wholesome. Watching a cast of cute girls going about their daily lives kinda just feels like it's cleansing your soul, even if some moe anime do contain a bit of fan service. I do understand that the lack of any real substance, like a hype fight scene or deep conversations, is a huge turnoff for a lot of people. But if you go into one of these kinds of anime knowing that there isn't going to be a real story and with an open mind, your opinion might change. Sometimes a good dose of animated diabetes is what you need to make a rough day be at least a little bit less shitty and put a smile on your face. Give it a try sometime. A lot of what I've discussed here also applies to moe manga, so if there's a moe anime you like that didn't get a sequel, which is most of them unfortunately, go pick up the manga and pick up where you left off or start from the beginning, which I highly recommend doing. The chronology of events often differs in the anime adaptation, or some things just get cut out entirely. Anime adaptations also like to throw in anime exclusive scenes that will probably have a manga reader confused at first, but more often than not get implemented into the manga in some way later down the line, so it's best just to read from the beginning. If you're someone that has yet to give this genre of anime a shot, I'd like to give you a couple of my personal favorites as recommendations to you. Gabriel Dropout, New Game, and Nonnon Biyori. Gabriel Dropout and the previously mentioned New Game are two great moe anime by the modern kings of moe themselves, Doga Kobo. You might have heard of Doga Kobo because of the currently airing, at the time of writing the script, anime known as Oshinoko. Nonnon Biyori was adapted by Silverlink, also known for doing cute anime, but are most famous for their adaptation of Fate Collide Line or Prisma Ilia. So I mentioned that Doga Kobo are the modern kings of moe. I'm not really sure how many will agree with me, but when it comes down to moe anime, in my opinion, I don't think anyone else does moe as well as they do. With hits like Yuri Yuri, The Helpful Fox Senko, and more recently with My Senpai is Annoying, it's hard to argue that they aren't the kings, or at least some of the best in the business. What I like most about them is their art style. I like it when I start watching an anime and just know right away who made it without having to look up any information, and Doga Kobo has that recognizable art style. Despite that, however, every anime by them looks unique, so it's difficult to get them confused. Ironically, most of their original anime aren't moe anime though. With Doga Kobo being the modern kings of moe, who came before? That would be Kyoto Animation. Let's travel back in time a bit to 2006, when Season 1 of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya came out. This would be where most people would argue was the beginning of moe as we know it today, which does make sense seeing as the anime itself does make mention of the word. I don't know, however, if the light novel itself does use it, seeing as I haven't read it. As much as I'd like to, I simply don't have the time, unfortunately. With the female cast featuring characters with popular tropes such as a tsundere, a kudere, and a dandere, it's no wonder why The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is often credited for the beginning of modern moe. Immediately after, we had Lucky Star, which referenced Haruhi Suzumiya a lot, and further cemented what we know today as moe. While no one really knows when exactly or how moe was established, we do know for sure that Kyoto Animation were the ones who popularized the formula for what modern moe is and what it looks like, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you everyone for sticking around until the end of the video. I thought I'd try discussing a broad topic on anime instead of specifics like I've normally been doing. Let me know if you enjoyed this at all. Have any of you watched moe anime before? And if so, what are your favorites? Did you end up watching some after watching this video? What do you guys think of this genre? Let me know in the comments down below, and remember, go watch A Place Further Than the Universe. You'll thank me for it later. Until next time, see ya.